Hey everyone, I just got done watching The Last of Us season 2 episode 4. Just thought I'd sport my Naughty Dog t-shirt today. This was a great episode. I was looking forward to seeing Isaac Dixon played by Jeffrey Wright in the game, so very appropriate. Also played by Jeffrey Wright in the show. The episode started off with a literal bang. We got to see something that was not in the game. In Seattle, it appears that Fedro had a base there as well because Isaac was wearing the Fedra armor in the beginning. But we did see that, at least in certain parts of America, Fedra did not create a stronghold as expected or as we saw in The Last of Us Season 1. And what's interesting is that some of the Fedra officers turned on themselves, as you saw in the episode, and I guess the Washington Liberation Front was formed out of that. So that was quite interesting to see. We also got to see more of the Seraphites, also nicknamed the Scars by the Wolves. That was also very interesting because we got to see that there were two sides of the Seraphites as well. So, two sides on the military front, and also two sides for the religious side of things with the Seraphites. In the previous episode, we saw a Seraphite say that the prophet is just a person. But as referenced in this latest episode, uh, those Seraphites who are have more faith in that prophet call those other Seraphites heretics. So it was just a very interesting piece of insight that I did not get to see too much of in the game. Another interesting thing actually comes from the official podcast where Neil Druckmann also highlights that the way the Seraphites look at the prophet as part of their religion, let's just say, is very similar to how Ellie views Joel, someone who's no longer alive, but she is acting in a way based on her love of Joel. And I just thought that was a very interesting piece of insight as well. Later on in the episode, we got a key scene, something that I happened to run into when I was playing the game, the guitar playing scene. That is actually something that is missable. It's completely optional. If you just happen to go into the music shop, you can run into this guitar and start playing it and sing a song for Dina. I thought that scene was very touching here. I love the fact that they added that. It was a key scene for me while playing the game, so I'm glad that's been canonized in the show as well. The other thing about this scene is that, according to Craig Mazin, we wanted to showcase Dina falling in love at that moment. So I certainly felt that watching that scene, but I wonder if that's something that you felt as well. So that's a very pivotal scene in this episode. We also got to see stealth action, which is typically when I play the game. I think most people who play The Last of Us do a lot of stealthing. It's just the nature of the game, hiding from the clickers and the wolves, etc. But we got to see it in the actual show. That has been really cool to see Ellie do the little neck stab that I see so often in the games. The game Last of Us Part 2 is, in my view, significantly more violent than Part 1. Just the way Ellie takes out people, the violence was ratcheted up a lot. So we did get to see some of that violence so far, but nothing compared to what is showcased in the game. So maybe we'll see that later on in this season. As Ellie and Dina are escaping from the scene, they also run into their first horde. We've seen the horde over at Jackson before, but now we're seeing them in Seattle as well. So Seattle's definitely not safe. And it was a very scary scene, I would say. In the game, there are these masks that Dina and Ellie wear because there's spores around. And so if you breathe in the spores, you turn into a clicker. So Ellie's fine, but Dina's not. In the game, the mask is cracked, and Ellie needs to switch out, and that's how Dina finds out that Ellie is immune. In the show, however, they get to a turnstile, doesn't turn completely, and a clicker is running, or a person is running at them looking to bite Dina, and Ellie just jams her arm into the mouth, taking the bite. So I thought that was very interesting, the way they switched that up, because there was an interaction afterwards where Dina has this fear that Ellie is going to turn because she doesn't know that she's immune. So Ellie has to kind of negotiate her way out of it in a very similar way that happened with Joel in season 1. I really liked that aspect of it. However, the one part I didn't like in the episode came immediately afterwards, when Dina does realize that Ellie is immune. She, I guess, in a moment of vulnerability and honesty, finding out something about Ellie, Dina mentions that she's pregnant. So that does happen in the game, but what really irked me was this sort of roller coaster ride with Ellie and Dina spending the night together passionately immediately after all of that. That particular scene happened in the game at the Eugene's weed stash when they were trapped in the blizzard. That actually made more sense because Dina and Ellie were trapped in the blizzard. They were getting high or something and, intoxicated, and things happened. I just felt like this scene happening after finding out Ellie is immune, immediately finding out after Ellie's immune and saying that she's pregnant, I just didn't think it made sense. So that was the one scene that I didn't particularly care for. Other than that, the episode was great. It really sets up what's going to be happening next. I look forward to seeing more of Isaac and more with Ellie and Dina and how that relationship blossoms in a way. So, yeah, that's it for this week. I am looking forward to next week's episode, and hope I get to see you there. Bye.